Hello and welcome. Aquarister here, coming to you with another video, and today we are looking at named healer gear. Now, I've had some people ask me, how can I get my own healer fit together and what I wear. I still do wear and use some of the named gear that I have farmed up for my healer fit, but a lot of the pieces I have replaced over time as I've gotten more money or gotten lucky finding stuff on the trading post. But today I will show you some of the jewelry, armor, and weapons that I have used in the past and still use today, so you yourself can go out and get to farming and get your healing fit together. So let's start taking a look at some of the armor. Taking a look at armor, we have the Sagacious set. Now, the Sagacious set is a full light armor set of armor specifically for healers, so it is full focus. Armor on each piece, so no con, no nothing, just full focus. The head is going to give you Fortifying Sacred Ground, Refreshing and Elemental Aversion. Really good Sacred Ground hat. I don't really change it up too often. I do have, like for my ward gear, I'll change it up, but for the most part, for your open world healer, your regular dungeons where you don't really worry about the ward gear as much, this hat works just fine. So definitely do recommend it. The shirt and gloves actually have the same perks to them, again with focus. Elemental Aversion, Shirking Fortification, and Refreshing. So you do get 2 stacks of Shirking Fortification with this fit. So that's why I do run the gloves and the chest. So I get 2 stacks of the Shirking Fortify at least, which does increase your survivability. Even by just a little bit, it does help. The pants, you get Shirking Energy, Refreshing, and Mending Protection. Mending Protection being a really good perk just to increase your healing output. Not 100% necessary as a healer in my opinion, but if you can get the pants and get it on there for free, why not? Shirking Energy did receive a little bit of a nerf a while back, and you don't gain as much stamina back, but it's still a pretty decent perk. And then obviously Refreshing gives you that cooldown. I don't actually own the Sagacious boots, and I don't really worry about owning the Sagacious boots, primarily because they have Accelerating Light's Embrace, which I don't use Light's Embrace anymore at all, and even when I did, I wasn't running the Accelerating Light's Embrace. I don't think it's that strong of a perk, especially for PvE, so I just kind of ignored it and just didn't even bother farming for it. But this whole fit can be found in the Tempest Heart dungeon over in Shattered Mountain. So like any other named item, especially when you're looking for 5 individual different items, you will find that you're going to probably have to run the dungeon multiple times in order to get the full fit. But the main 3 pieces, I would say, are the head, chest, and gloves. The pants, again, if you can't get Mending Protection on something else, then the pants are totally fine. Again, Shirking Energy isn't my favorite perk, but it does still come in handy. If you do have it, you might find that it does help you. So see how they work for you. Again, they're free, so being that they're free and you don't have to invest anything but some time, still worth running it, even if you're not quite sure exactly if you need the Mending Protection for your build or not. But again, all this gear can be found in Tempest Heart, so most people will pull a few pieces within the first couple of runs, but just run it a bunch of times, see how it goes, and hopefully you get lucky and pull the entire fit before too long. But again, I do wear these pieces, the top 3 pieces here, I still wear to this day, especially for the open world stuff. A little bit of OPR. I can kind of hop around and do different things with it. So Sagacious set, very good as a healer. I would suggest all healers at least own the fit, even if you're not wearing it. At least own it, because you never know. Maybe someday they'll change some perks on the Sagacious set, and all of a sudden it's worth a whole bunch to us, or a whole bunch more, I should say. So that is the armor that I would highly recommend as a healer. Now moving on to the jewelry. So for the jewelry, let's start with the Misty Kismet. Misty Kismet charm is going to drop from the Garden of Genesis dungeon. So you don't have to do Mutated or anything like that. It will just drop. It can drop at multiple different locations, I believe, within the dungeon, but it is a more common drop. Usually you'll see people pulling it at least once a dungeon if you're in a group. Usually someone pulls it. But again, a really, really good starting earring. Refreshing evasion, purifying toast. Purifying toast is one of my favorites as a healer to have on my earring. So the fact that you can get a named one with 3 extremely good perks, you know, I definitely do recommend this earring. I don't wear it right now, but I definitely consider it. This is the earring that I do wear, which has focus, refreshing toast, and purifying toast. I just like the cooldowns on the potions, extra mana regen. But honestly, Misty Kismet is just as good, just in a different way. So it just depends on like what you're looking to get out of your earring. But yeah, Misty Kismet, Gardener Genesis. Next is the Silver Leaf Ring. Now, currently there are no Hardy Sacred Rings, named rings out there. I did hear with the next mutated dungeon, the Amarine Starstone combination dungeon, I did hear that there's potentially going to be a named Hardy Sacred Ring in that dungeon, but I'm not 100% sure. But in the meantime, if you can't get a Hardy Sacred Ring, because Hardy is really, really nice with the light armor, but if you can't do that, Silverleaf, it drops from Eternal Pools in Reekwater, and there's a bunch of different enemy types, or enemies that can actually drop this ring now. But Sacred, Brilliant, Siphoning, you can't really go wrong. Again, the only thing that you're lacking is the Hardy. Outside of the Hardy, though, having Brilliant or Siphoning isn't the worst. I would probably prefer... Boy, I don't even know. Maybe Brilliant over Siphoning. Probably doesn't matter too much, but I did use Silverleaf for a good chunk of time before I switched up my build and ended up finding some rings and had the money to actually invest in some better rings. But again, Silverleaf, to get you by as a healer, perfectly fine. You just really need to watch your stam, your stam usage and stuff. And then for the amulet, this one is going to be a little bit harder to get, but I did run this earring for quite a long time before I found the earring, or not earring, the amulet. I did run this amulet for a long time before I found the amulet that I'm currently wearing. This one drops from Mutated Dynasty, so it is going to be a little bit trickier for some to get, but nonetheless, it is a really good free amulet. And if you're doing Mutated Dynasty, you have a chance at getting the Glowing Lifecrystal Staff. The Glowing Lifecrystal Staff is a phenomenal life staff if you're running Divine Embrace. If you don't run Divine Embrace, it does you no good because the Refreshing Divine Embrace is just wasted then. I use Divine Embrace most of the time, so I almost always have this life staff on me. I'm always using it. But this drops from the very last boss of Mutated Dynasty. It's the only way to get is the very last boss. So I farmed it over and over and over, 30 something times, didn't pull it a single time. I had to farm it to the point where I had to craft it out of materia. It sucked. It was awful. But I finally have it. So hopefully, for you, because I saw everyone in my group pull it other than me, so hopefully for you, you have better luck and you're able to pull this life staff without having to run it 30 plus times in order to get it. But again, Mutated Dynasty, the two items that you can look for are this Glowing Lifecrystal Staff and then the Keeper's Pendant. Again, Keeper's Pendant, great amulet to have. You get Purify, Refreshing Health. Purify is pretty nice. It does drop all the debuffs once you're under 50% health. It's a 90-second cooldown, but usually you can stay alive for those 90 seconds. Really, really good amulet, though. And then, again, the Glowing Lifecrystal Staff. Now, the last one that we are going to look at, which is probably the easiest item to get for any healer, and it is a go-to for most healers, and that is the Will of the Ancients Life Staff. Will of the Ancients, you get Blessed, Refreshing Move, and instead of the Refreshing Divine Embrace, you just get a straight Refreshing, so it's another Refreshing stack. Will of the Ancients drops from Lazarus, the Lazarus Expedition over in Reekwater. And Laz is one of the easiest dungeons to run for a 60, in my opinion. You can just burn through them really quickly, and it seems like the drop rate of Will of the Ancients is really high. People are always pulling it. I've pulled multiples, so Will of the Ancients, though, you can't go wrong with it. Are there better life staffs for specific builds? Sure. But overall, if you just want one life staff, you're not a main healer, but you just want to heal sometimes, just get Will of the Ancients. You're set. Don't need to do anything else. Pop a diamond in there and you're good to go. But yeah, so let's take a look at all of what we have here. We have the Sagacious Fit from Tempest Heart. We have Misty Kismet from Gardener Genesis. Silverleaf from Eternal Pools and Reekwater. We have the Keeper's Pendant and Glowing Lifecrystal Staff, which are both from Mutated Dynasty. And then we have Will of the Ancients, which is going to be from Lazarus over in Reekwater as well. So all of these pieces are really, really good for healers. As you can see, I'm still wearing some of them, still using some of these pieces, even as time has gone on and I've gotten some better gear. I just replace them as I go. So I would recommend maybe starting with the named stuff if you're newer to healing and you just want to like get some free decent gear. That's 600. Start with some of the named gear and then slowly replace them as you figure out your playstyle as a healer. Slowly replace those pieces with the different perks, because what works for me may not work for you. I definitely can recommend what has been working for me, but again, your playstyle may be different from mine, so definitely play around. But hopefully this gives you a few options for some items to go with. For Void Gauntlets, unfortunately, there's no really good named Void Gauntlets outside of Dark Vengeance, and Dark Vengeance is extremely hard to pull because it can drop from just about anything. And to buy one is going to be quite expensive for most people. So Dark Vengeance, I'm not going to even recommend it out there unless you have a lot of money, or get really, really lucky. But otherwise, just find a Blessed Refreshing Move Void Gauntlet. They're usually pretty cheap on the market. If you look for just even a purple one, it doesn't need to be gold, but Blessed Refreshing Move, that will get you by for a long time until you can get something better. I'm still using just a Blessed Refreshing Move. I just picked this one up with a third perk. It's my first time having a third perk with Blessed and Refreshing Move, because the third perk is good, but honestly, like, those are the two perks, in my opinion, that work for myself, for dungeon healing especially. All right. Well, hopefully this video has helped you figure out some of the named items that you could maybe go look for. I know it can be a little overwhelming with what to look for a new build, especially for a new healer. It can be a little overwhelming. You hear people saying, do this, do that. You need these perks, you need that perk. And then you go to the auction house, start looking stuff up, and there's a lot to look at. So hopefully these named items can at least narrow down a few, get you into a build at least, so you can start learning some healing, start having some fun with it, and then from there take these named items and start figuring out, okay, which perks do I like from this, which don't I, and start picking and choosing what you do like. So yeah, hopefully this helps you out. If you did enjoy the video, I would appreciate a thumbs up, a like. Subscribe if you want to see more content. I know I do a lot of build videos, and I will be bringing more build videos into the channel as well. But we're also going to share some of the other sides of things, and maybe we'll even go into a named tanking video so we can kind of figure out some of the ward gear for a tank. Because I know that's one thing that I've struggled with and taken some time to actually try to figure out, what do I need, where can I get it. So we'll maybe do more videos on named items like that. But thank you for hanging out today. I do really appreciate it. Hopefully you can stop by a stream sometime if you do have any other questions and would like to ask live. I am on Twitch throughout the week. But for now, that is going to do it for me. So until next time, I'll see you later.